Alright, welcome back. Now, this is an example of a political cartoon that you may see and how you can analyze it properly in order to give a valid message or valid inference. First thing you need to do is, of course, you need to look at the source provenance. The provenance is the first line on top of the source that you see here. Alright, so this is the provenance. Now, highlight who is the author. In this case, it is American. Next, highlight what is the issue here. The issue here is the TOV. Therefore, your main inference, the main header, the main character, must be about the TOV and nothing else. Alright, it must be about the TOV. Next, check the date. In this case, the date is 1921. So what events have happened before 1921? It is World War I, which took place between 1914 and 1918, which caused a lot of death and destruction throughout Europe, including Germany and including the Allied nations as well. What else happened before 1921? Well, it was June 1919, and that is the signing of the TOV. So this cartoon is actually after the signing of the TOV. A few years after the signing of the TOV, where the impact on Germany was already seen. And this impact is, of course, the economic depression. It's the economic depression. Alright, so all these things can be sieved out from your from the source provenance. That's why it's very important to read it properly. It will give you the context to which you can write the message of your cartoon. Now, looking at the cartoon, okay, like I said before in here, okay, when you look at the cartoon, right, you must check down characters, who they represent, actions, expressions, any text you see, and of course the provenance, and check again what is the main highlight here: economic, social, or political impact. So here, because this is very big, right, so I can tell that this is talking about your economic impact, right? It's mostly the economic impact because the main focus is on the reparations. Yes, this is the main focus, so this is the highlight. So whatever you write down, your explanation must link to the highlight, all right, which is $550 million here. Okay, next thing, this guy here, so annotate, he is Germany. He represents Germany, or the German people. He's looking hopeless, looking lost. Okay, what is happening over here? Write down what is happening. The action here is a big pile of reparations. So it's a big pile of reparations stacked on Germany. Alright, next thing, check for any literary technique that you see here. This, I forgot to mention this in the previous video. So check the literary technique. In this case, because the size of the reparation is too big, alright, it's exaggerated. So you have the technique of exaggeration, okay, right, to highlight the severity of the reparations. Alright, so you have annotated your source details now, and then you can among your annotation, right, pick out which one do you think is the key out of everything you have written down. Okay, who is the person, what is happening, who is the person, what is happening to him, what's the technique being used, what is being highlighted here, what is the impact being seen here. Alright, then you can come to your conclusion. Okay, if the question is asking what can you infer about the TOV, so follow along and write the TOV. Alright, now your conclusion is harsh, right? Okay, let me use blue, darker blue. So it's good if you can draw this little graph here before you write down your actual answer. Okay, you can draw it anywhere that you can see. Okay, write in point form first. Okay, TOV was harsh. Okay, then highlight. Main highlight you see is the reparations. This is your evidence, right? This is your evidence. I see the reparations. This is your point. I see the reparations. I see crush and looking hopeless. These are the main words of the picture. Economically, TOV was harsh economically. All right. Then your evidence, you have already picked out that, I see the reparations. I see that they were crushed. I see that Germany was looking hopeless. Okay, then think about this first, which is your explanation. Okay, how are you going to explain this? All right. So it's talking about impact. Okay, again, how to explain? You can use the word so what, or think about the implications, think about the impact. Okay, in this case, you can say that the TOV is going to severely weaken Germany, right? Then you link to this weaken Germany. What would the next scene look like? Right, like I always say, what would the next scene look like? Germany, once they face this thing, the next scene probably will be defeated. They will look very defeated, right? They will look very depressed, right? And then there will be poverty, right? There will be unemployment, massive unemployment that stems from massive unemployment causing poverty and causing a lot of suffering and hardship. And if you want to go one step further, you can also say this might lead to inflation, okay, economic depression and all these things. All right, because they are unable to pay. Yes, so you must jot down this, okay? Think about it first. Repeat one more time. Your main point is the TOV was harsh. The main impact is talking about is economic. So your main point is the TOV was harsh towards Germany because it led to the downfall of their economy. Okay, affected them economically speaking. Evidence, I see a big part of reparations. Everything you see right down here, Germany crushed, Germany looking hopeless, and the use of exaggeration to imply that the reparations are too great an amount. So what? Okay, what's the implication for this? What's the impact of this? How does this imply that it's too harsh economically? All right, this means it's very harsh because it's going to severely affect the economy of Germany. The people are going to feel defeated. They're going to feel depressed. All right, the economic downturn is going to lead to what? So next scene, right? What does the next scene look like? It's going to lead to a lot of poverty, unemployment, suffering for the people, and it may also lead to inflation, weakening the life savings, the value of the life savings of the German population. All right, so the impact of the TOV here is very harsh because it impacted Germany economically. That is what the source is trying to say as a whole, correct? So the next part is think about the CK. Okay, the CK, which is meant to complement your analysis. Okay, in this case, the CK will be your reparations. Okay, pick the one that is relevant now. So it will be the reparations, and it will be the why. Why Germany unable to pay. Right. Then you talk about the impact of World War I. Okay, which is the 15% male population, which is lost during the war, cannot rebuild the economy. Okay, then they also lost their resource-rich areas. Hence, by imposing reparations like this to a country that already lost 15% of their population and already lost their resource-rich places, is going to severely impact and change the lives of the German people for the worse. Right, so lives of Germans are going to be impacted negatively. The lives of the Germans are going to be impacted negatively, and hence the TOV was too harsh, economically speaking. So there is time for this test. Don't worry, there is going to be time for you to jot down your notes first. Think about what the next scene looks like. Think about what is going to happen to poor old Germany here. Think about what is this? What's the symbolism of this? All right, and then explain it well. And then when you explain here, right, you see when I explain here, I'm not referring to the picture. I'm not saying that this implies that this guy is going to break his back and he's going to suffer greatly. Okay, I'm moving away from the picture. I'm explaining the symbolism, right? The use of exaggeration. So what you must do here is to explain the symbolism. Okay, the fact that they made the thing so heavy implies that this TOV is really going to severely weaken the economy. All right, the fact that they use this guy looking hopeless, right, Germany, implies that they may feel defeated, depressed, they may experience poverty, unemployment, suffering, and hardship. The country may undergo inflation, whereby the value of savings of the people will start to drop. So when you explain again, symbolism. Okay, explain all the symbolism, bring it to the reality. Okay, don't be stuck in the scenario of the picture, but bring it to reality. And then once you're done with that, then you can think about the CK. What context knowledge is relevant and directly implies well to this cartoon? It is the reparations and the fact that they were unable to pay because they lost 15% of the population, as well as a lot of their resource-rich land, resulting in a lot of hardship and suffering for the people, and therefore implying that the TOV was indeed too harsh economically. Alright, it did not take into account Germany's ability to pay. Yes, so let's put it all together and show you my thought process when I write everything together. So I'll open up my text and write it below. Okay, hang on, let me add a new page first. And I'll write it below here. Okay, so first thing you do is answer a question. Okay, I can. Hang on, where's my okay. ATQ first, so I can learn that the TOV was too harsh to Germany. Okay, up to you. I put the economically there so I can have a focus. Okay, but some cartoons you don't need to write that focus down. You just need to write too harsh. And then in your explanation, you clearly explain in what way. In your explanation, you clearly explain in what way. So I must see this somewhere, either in the first part or in the last part. In what way is it too harsh economically? Okay, moving on. Okay, now I'll go on to my evidence. So I'll say the source states. Okay, evidence, just need to list every single thing. Right, so first thing is a huge pile of reparations, because this is the focus, right? Lying on a man labeled Germany. All right, the man is looking expression hopeless. The man is looking hopeless. Okay, then write down any text you see. The reparations in this case are $550 million. Hey, wait, it's 5,500. $1 million. Okay, anything else that you're gonna write down? Looking hopeless, looking lost, reparations, economic impact highlighted. All right, that should be it for your evidence. So everything just list down. Okay, I'm not making any analysis yet. I'm just listing down everything that I see from the source. Now moving on, I will write my explanation. So this implies, this implies that. Okay, focus topic again. Topic is TOV, right? So TOV, the fact that they are being used, right? I mean, the reparations is lying down head first on Germany implies that TOV is going to next scene, right? Cause great economic depression to Germany, right? Causing loss of unemployment, causing unemployment, and possibly even poverty. Right. This is going direct impact to lead to great hardships for the German population. Okay. So then after that you try and explain any techniques being used in the source. In this case, I clearly see the technique is exaggeration, right? Exaggerated. The money is too big. Exaggeration. Okay, so what does this exaggeration imply? So you can write it down the next line. Okay. Right. The use of exaggeration, right, implies that Germany would not exaggeration of the reparations. Okay, what did they exaggerate? They exaggerate the reparations. This implies that Germany would not be able to cope with the amount. Okay, so that's it for my explanation. Okay, if you're done here, this is quite good already. This will get you 1 mark away from the 1 mark. It's 1 mark away from the maximum. Alright, so the CK is your additional last mark. So relevant CK, in order to explain this one is, okay, from my contextual knowledge, you can explain why they were unable to pay, right? Right, the amount is too much, as Germany would have difficulty paying due to. So everything I say is intentional and it complements my explanation, because in my explanation I already say that the exaggeration implies that Germany would not be able to cope with the amount. So from my contextual knowledge now, I can add on further and say that they could not cope and state the reason why. As, right, they suffered great losses in World War One, and 15% of the male population gone. What's the impact of this? Resulting in difficulties to rebuild the economy. Okay, what else do you know from this context knowledge? I also know that they also lost many resource-rich industrial lands, further impacting their ability to pay the reparations. All right. That's it. So can you see here, my whole paragraph flows. All right, there's a flow. Okay. Okay, then after that you just link. Thus, DOV was too harsh on to Germany economically. Okay, then I end with my link again. All right. So take your time. A bit long. You don't need to write so long, but as long as the general idea is there, you should be able to do this well. Okay. Thank you.